republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back once again. It is Saturday afternoon, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And what are you laughing about already? That big long pause.
Am I distracting you?
I was like, what are you looking at?
What the hell is that? Anyway,
we'll talk about that. You're like, it's been a while since you've been here.
It has. Things have changed.
Should I redesign the place?
It's a winter wonderland in here.
Almost. Joining me is the Cajun Cowboy.
Hello.
So you ready for the cold weather? Just chomp that gun. That old cold weather is going to be here tomorrow.
That's what they keep threatening me. I don't believe it no more.
Today's supposed to be 60 degrees.
Today
Today is supposed to be 60 degrees.
So what's it supposed to be tomorrow?
40s.
That's
and
better.
like 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Okay. Well, come on, man.
You're friends with cold. We're in freaking December.
It's in December, and a fly flew in my house yesterday. I'm like, oh, man, come on now.
Yeah.
This thing should be dead by now.
It's freaking Idaho. No, well, it's not even Idaho. It's just the world. Nothing is normal anymore.
Interesting, huh?
It's interesting times.
Yeah.
But if you want to check out all that's not normal, you can check out Forgotten American Podcast.
You can.
And where can they find it at?
Everywhere that fine podcasts are served.
There you go.
If it's not there, you don't want to be there.
So how you been, sir? It's been a few weeks.
Yeah. It's been a crazy time. I was waiting. I'm like, I got my notice. Cool. I'm bouncing. I'm out of my job. Then they court reversed everything, and I got a temporary stay of execution. And I'm like, well, okay, back to work.
You're already making your plans and everything.
I was, and then what's bad is I wasn't doing nothing. Like, screw these people. And then they like, you still got a job. I'm like, crap, now I got
like a month's worth of work to make up in a week.
Yeah, so I had to run, man. I'm like, oh, this is awful. I thought I was getting fired. So now I've caught back up, and we'll see.
Well, you're good till the last week of this month.
Should be.
Well, this is, we used to work the same job. This is the time you just cruise. This is an autopilot.
It's gravy season. Yeah,
it's gravy season.
Nice.
That's right. So, sir, have you bought any guns, ammo, anything?
No.
I keep asking, and one of these days you're going to say, yeah, I went and bought something new. Is there anything out there that even excites you? I will say this, that there is a new shotgun out there that is from Turkey.
I think we talked about this already. Which one is that?
I don't know what it's called. I forget who the manufacturer is, but I was like, you're into Turkish guns lately.
Well, I'm into whatever's quality. Give me something good.
This is supposed to rival the newest, latest, greatest, shotguns on the market, and it's for like $350.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I can't forget the name.
What is it set up like? Is it set up like a?
It's like a semi-auto. It's like a hunting shotgun.
Okay.
And they're supposed to be freaking phenomenal.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Well, you got the hunting shotguns, you got the 3-gun shotguns, and then you got the Benelli level. Ooh.
Well, I think it's supposed to rival like a Benelli, honestly. Some kind of, I don't know. I came in this with like no information.
Okay.
But check them out.
I'd like to.
I don't know who they are.
I'd like to see one of those.
Yeah. There you go. You might have a new favorite gun. Maybe it's the Canic shotgun.
I will have to buy it just to coordinate.
So I tell you what, this is speaking of Canics, we have a listener, a subscriber to my podcast and your podcast.
Whoa.
Go out and get his first Canic.
Okay, now he has reached the pinnacle.
He has reached the pinnacle, and I know he's going to be listening to this. And
he has achieved greatness.
But you know what? He's got a Canic complaint. The slide's too heavy.
No, man, it's not.
I know, but whatever. It is what it is. He'll fix it. He's got his Dremel tool out now. He's probably engraving like his initials into it to get rid of some of the excess metal.
Well, that's a lot of weight to cut out. I believe he was talking about 6 ounces to cut out of the slide.
That is
like, I hope I read that wrong. I hope I'm remembering that wrong. That's a lot.
That
He's
is.
going to have a skeleton.
He's gonna have a freaking nail and a hammer on the back. Whack. He's gonna be firing that canic.
But from everything I hear, he brings them. Whenever you give it to him, and it comes back better.
He's like master class with his Dremel tool.
Okay,
I'm telling you.
he's not like me.
No, he's master class. He's awesome. Brain fog all of a sudden.
Okay, don't do that.
So I talked like last week, like I wanted to buy the new Smith & Wesson. Did you listen to the last podcast?
Yeah,
The new Smith & Wesson. No, the one before that. Smith & Wesson 10 millimeter.
Yeah.
I wanted to buy it.
Okay.
And now, I couldn't get my hands on one right away. Although,
The hype's dying down.
well, Magnum went ahead and sent me. There's a guy up in Boise that's got a bunch, and like he owns a gun store or whoever, and he's got a bunch. He's got them on one of the local gun selling sites. I don't know that I'm interested in buying one now. And I want to buy a gun.
A lot of guns are impulse buys.
They are. I want to buy a gun, but I don't know what to buy.
Get a canic. You still don't have a canic, do you?
I still don't have a canic.
Man.
I like a canic, but do I want a canic?
Of course you do.
I like the SIG P365 XL, but do I want a SIG P365 XL? Do I want a practical gun, or do I just want some crazy gun? This seems to be like my dilemma. It's been this way for the last couple of years because, honestly, I don't buy a lot of guns. And when I do, they're utility guns, right? They're for my class. I don't know what I want to buy.
So you're thinking you might get a trophy gun?
Maybe.
A Safe Queen.
Maybe. I don't know. I have no. Do I want just like a big ass revolver that is just bang bang? It's fun to shoot on the range. What do I want?
I don't know.
Point me in the direction I need to go.
I'll have to go see what I have. You want a CZ P10?
See, I thought about a CZ. Well, it'd be nice if I could afford a Shadow Systems.
I don't know.
Those are nice. It's like $1,400. Nice.
Yeah.
Those are nice. Maybe I should. No, I was gonna say maybe I should buy a 1911, but maybe then again I shouldn't.
Well, the Shadows. I mean, it's got the double single.
And I was thinking an HK P30.
Okay.
Thinking about that. Then I thought about buying one of those Berettas we were talking about early, the 93F whatever, and turning it into like a really nice gun. I thought about buying a piece of shit and seeing what I could do to it. But
I can't help you.
I don't know.
Or you can just buy them all.
I don't have that kind of money.
Okay.
Can't do
Just
that.
get one at a time.
Maybe I'll just buy more ammo.
It's Christmas.
I'll just buy more ammo.
Yeah, that's not as sexy. It's more practical. But it's not as sexy. It's not as fun.
A holster. Maybe I'll buy a holster. I can come up with some expensive holsters. You know what I should do?
What's that?
I've got the money. I should go out and buy me one of the new Taurus GX4s.
Okay.
The Tauros edition.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, because why would I buy a canic?
Well, you buy a canic for shooting perfection. You buy a Taurus when you shoot somebody, you can put a cheap gun in their hands that you don't care about.
It's a freaking drop gun. But see, these Tauroses, the Taurus GX4 Tauros is what they're calling it. The optic ready, whatever. I could put an optic on it. I have to unscrew that optic really quick.
Did you ever get the optic you wanted?
I did. I got a Holosun.
Okay.
Maybe I need another HK, like another VP9 or something.
Dual wheel.
They need to make an HK and they need to make a VP10. They have a VP9 and a VP40.
Wasn't that in talks? Wasn't we talking about that like a year ago?
No, we were talking about that was like a dream.
Okay.
So I need a nice VP10. I'd buy that. I saw the picture again today of the 10 millimeter Smith & Wesson, and I'm just like,
That's going to be a heavy gun.
It just looks like the 9mm I have, the 2.0 9mm, and that's a fine gun.
It ain't shooting like it, though.
But it's just like, I don't know. All my guns kind of look the same.
Yeah. That's why you got to get, like me, I got one, got everything hanging off of it, but a coffee machine, man, it's just crazy looking. I buy weird guns. Actually, I've gotten rid of a lot of them.
I feel like I need to start doing that. I feel like that would fill some void in my life.
I bought my son a gun, and he didn't want it. He's like, it looks weird. Looks like an alien gun.
What was it?
It was a Beretta. It was a 22. It was a Beretta.
Nano?
Was it a Nano?
Yeah, it was
that weird one that you got to unscrew it to take apart.
The Nano. Yeah,
okay, it was weird.
So I did shoot some. A buddy of mine came out and was shooting a little bit the other day, and he actually brought a rifle out, and he had built a 300 Blackout, and it was an AR pistol. And he put the suppressor on the end of that. That thing was freaking fun to shoot.
There's a lot I like about that. I love the suppressed, but I was telling people a while back, don't buy weird rounds. Don't buy exotic rounds.
Yeah.
Because if we get into a crunch, if we get into an ammo shortage, what are they going to? They're going to make the NATO rounds. That's what's going to be the bulk. And in crazy, crazy times, once you run out of 300 Blackout, you throw that thing away. You're not going to find it anymore.
Right.
It's
well, and you saw that just in this last ammo crisis, right? That I mean, everything was gone, but that was really hard to find compared to even like the 5.56 or the 223 or whatever.
Well, if you got plenty of money and you just like buying them, indulge yourself.
So there you go. No 10 millimeter.
If you want something, trust me, you sat on 9s. You're okay for 9mm. So
that's
shit hit the fan. You just toss a 9mm under the sink.
What you're viewing
there
right there is a portion.
Yeah, it's you okay.
Okay.
So anything you buy would be an indulgence and a fun toy, and
maybe I'll buy the
stuff get crazy. You still okay?
The Performance Center.
No, don't do that.
No, it's not the Smith & Wesson Performance Center, but I'm going to call it the Performance Center, but like the performance model of the Taurus TX22.
They have a performance Taurus?
They do. They do.
What does that mean?
You freaking put like a red dot on that, and you. So, oh yeah, I love the TX22.
Yeah, that's what you keep saying. I've never shot it.
Well, you need to. Why don't you show up and shoot guns with me anymore?
I don't even show up.
I miss my friend.
I don't even show up anymore.
Where
man.
the freak you been?
Crazy.
Okay. We're looking at each other. So you ready for Christmas? You got your Christmas stuff? Oh, we do have to talk about Christmas. We're only like 20-something days away.
I don't know. I got to go get a tree. Usually I already have a tree up.
I don't.
You know what?
Doing a tree.
I always do a tree.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple times I skipped it, and you kind of there's something that feels left out. Christmas passes, and it's like it didn't even feel like Christmas.
Do you want to go
especially with this 60-degree heat we got out here? This heat wave is killing people.
You want to go buy a $10 permit, and you can ride up with. We'll make like a guy's trip, and we'll go up South Hills, and we'll cut you one down. Actually, we'll take one of your shotguns out there, and we'll shoot us one down. What do you think about that?
I got the ammo for. I got. Way back, I bought, I don't even know how many cases of double-aught buck. We'll shoot him down.
Sweet. Let's go do that. Get you a tree, get me a tree.
And it's $10, huh? Where do you got to go to get that?
South Hills. Oh, you just go buy the permit at there's a couple places you can buy the permits at in town.
You got to buy a permit to cut down a tree?
Yeah, $10.
Does anybody ever pull you over and check your permit when you're driving around with a tree?
They could.
They could. But
$10 versus like $60 on a lot.
It's the principle, man. It's the principle.
Yeah, I
I'll
guess.
just cut down my own damn
It's
tree.
like my taxes paid for that freaking tree.
God made that tree.
That's right. I sent my payment already.
Yeah, that ain't yours. I'll pay $10. Excuse me. I'll pay $10 to go cut down a tree.
We might. Maybe we might have to do that.
Bring
And
one
you
back.
can't go get one at CSI though. That's the thing. You can't go like get your permit and go cut one out of the CSI. This is crazy, man. Boom, boom, right there.
What's crazy is don't even cut down a tree. You just go and find one of their nice trees and you cut the top off of it.
It'll keep growing. I'm just taking a partial part.
You take that and you're like, why? I'm just trimming it.
With my double-aught buck
Well,
on the college campus.
you might get noticed with that. Oh, man.
Don't be doing that.
No.
So lots of crazy stuff going on in the world.
Lots of crazy stuff. A lot of gun stuff. A lot
of gun stuff.
of shootings. And
Go figure.
yeah, interesting.
And we did learn something big this week, though.
What's that?
We learned that guns fire themselves.
Well, interesting scenario. I mean, that's a joke, but it has a slight chance of being possible, depending on the maintenance. And some things do malfunction and break from time to time. But here's the beautiful thing about that.
Hold those thoughts.
What's that?
Let's play the audio clip, and then we can talk
Let's
about it.
do that.
Okay, let's play this audio clip. See, I forgot the board is further away.
Okay, just because you got that big, nice mic now.
So, yeah, and
sitting
dang
there
it, I've been 3 weeks
holding
now.
up on the microphone.
3 weeks. I need to do a little shout out, okay? A little shout out to one of our subscribers, Peter.
Okay.
And he actually called me up a while back, and I went out to visit him for a little while, and he donated. This awesome pimped out microphone.
Look at that.
This is like pimped out for podcasters in here.
Yeah.
And as soon as you came in, you got like immediately jealous.
Whoa, what's that? What's that, man?
Yeah, it's a big ass freaking microphone is what it is. So I would like
I'm
to.
sitting over here with a little lapel mic, man.
I would like to thank Peter for this microphone. This thing is freaking sweet.
Yeah, you're talking normal. I'm over here shouting.
Yeah, you're like over there licking the microphone, and I'm all. It's kind of weird though because I'm facing you, and I don't think I've ever done this podcast where I'm facing you.
No.
And so I'm trying not to like look directly into your eyes.
Yeah.
Don't look me in the eyes. It's uncomfortable.
Don't look into my eyes.
So anyhow, my board
You'll
is
forget what you say.
my board is way over here, and so I forget about it. Okay.
Right.
So let's go ahead and play this clip, and then we'll get into what we were going to talk about because this will kind of just like lead us into it. So
Let's do it.
Here we go. And that one.
Eeny, meeny.
Actor Alec Baldwin got emotional as he described publicly for the first time what happened on a movie set in October when he says a gun went off in his hand, killing one crew member and wounding another. Here's CBS's Omar Villafranca.
I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
Alec Baldwin broke down as he talked about how the gun he was holding discharged on the set of his movie.
It wasn't
Rust,
me, but someone's
killing
responsible.
42-year-old cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
She was someone who was loved by everyone who worked with and liked by everyone who worked with and admired.
This is where he breaks down.
Director Joel
Dramatic
Souza
pause.
was also injured by the bullet. Baldwin says he didn't pull the trigger of the .45 caliber prop gun while rehearsing the scene, but says he was pulling back the hammer while Hutchins worked on camera angles.
I'm holding that. I'm just showing. I go, how about that? Does that work? Do you see that? Do you see that? Do you see that? She goes, yeah, that's good. I let go of the hammer. Bang, the gun goes. The gun was supposed to be empty. I was told I was handed an empty gun. When she went down, he went down, and he was screaming really loudly. And I thought, but what is he screaming? What happened?
Dutch Merrick is a veteran movie armorer.
I was honestly a little startled when I heard his statement that he hadn't pulled the trigger, but the gun fired. So something tells me that this gun, if it operated the way he says, was not functioning according to the way it was designed.
There's only one question to be resolved, only one. That is, where did the live round come from?
Tonight, a New Mexico district attorney says some of the people who handled the gun on the set may face criminal charges. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Dallas.
So, we're gonna talk about this here in just a second, but at that very last phrase is some of the people on the set that handled the gun may face criminal charges. We're gonna talk about how there's people outside the box on a couple different scenarios right now that may be facing criminal charges for different things, but he didn't pull the trigger. The gun went off.
Well, there was a camera pointed at him, right?
Yeah.
let's see the film.
Yeah.
Let's see the film.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, I can guarantee you what's going to come next is there's no film because we were just setting up angles and getting ready for the shoot.
Yeah, we were just looking through the camera. It wasn't on something. I mean, the whole case started off with there was no live rounds on the set. They weren't supposed to be on the set. They
shouldn't have been. Yeah.
They shouldn't have been on the set. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. Now it's I didn't pull the trigger. And as much as I like teach classes and stuff, I don't have a lot of experience with period correct single action revolvers. But I mean, if it's I don't know, the newer models, right? The replica might have something in it, like a safety bar or something like that. But if you're pulling the hammer back and it slips out of your thumb, could it essentially fire the round? Which isn't going to get him off. Go ahead and finish your thought there.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's good to say that there was a malfunction. The chances of that are very small, but it could happen. So he's just trying to sow some doubt and duck right out of this.
Well, and some people were saying too that if he's holding a gun and I guess he was obviously unaware of the safety rules, he didn't check it, he was still pointing it at somebody, right? And if his finger just happened to be on that trigger and he was pulling the hammer back at the same time and that trigger is back just far enough, maybe to lower that trigger bar if there was, you know what I'm saying? And it went forward, it could have fired. I have no idea, but the fact that he's saying, it wasn't me, someone's responsible, but it wasn't me. The gun was in your hand when it went off.
Well, see, she don't even have to be behind the camera to get camera angles. You set up the camera, and you leave remotely and view through a monitor and say, yeah, that's the shot we want.
Yeah.
No, you just don't. There's gun safety is, especially after the Brandon Lee, is don't clown around with guns. It always happens when somebody's clowning around. Brandon Lee was clowning around.
Well, was he?
Yeah.
Is that how? I mean, I know that's how he died, but I didn't know if he was actually screwing around.
Yeah, he was goofing off after the shot ended. Whoa!
Nah. Did you hear that? It's a little bit. Scratch that one off my list. Got that one out. Of the way. But it's just interesting, and and it's like
you notice all the gun people. They're not. Where are they at? Well, the anti-gun people.
Yeah.
Why aren't they marching on Alec Baldwin? Why aren't they marching on the movies?
Well, right. Because he's one of them.
He's one of them.
He's one of them, and I would think they would like this idea to go across as the gun is dangerous. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you squeeze the trigger or not. It's freaking dangerous, right? Because what do we always say? It's not the gun, it's the person behind the gun. If you got Alec Baldwin, and it took him so long to come out and say what he said, and now he's saying, well, it just went off. I didn't touch the trigger. I didn't squeeze the trigger. It just went off. Then all of a sudden, these guns are freaking dangerous.
I can't believe he's out doing all this talking.
Yeah.
There's a criminal investigation taking place.
Yeah, well,
let your attorneys talk.
Well, we have another clip, and I'll play this audio clip, and you'll have to hear what he has to say and what he's been told. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah, shoot it.
The particulars of what happened, the particulars, most importantly, of how a piece of live ammunition ended up on this property. It wasn't supposed to be on the property. It wasn't supposed to be on the truck. It wasn't supposed to be in the kit. It wasn't supposed to be in somebody's fanny pack. A live round is not supposed to be anywhere near the set.
How did a real bullet get on that set?
What I'm saying is that's for a criminal investigation to solve. I have no idea. I take that back. I have some ideas, but that's not for me to say. I've spoken to the sheriff's department multiple times. I don't have anything to hide.
Who was the producer of that?
The facts as I see them are what I've stated on the record.
Oh, he was.
You're not worried about being charged?
I've been told by people who are in the know in terms of even inside the state that it's highly unlikely I would be charged with anything criminally.
So there you go. He's been told by people within the state that it's highly unlikely. And I actually kind of have read this, like it would be, it wouldn't be like he did it on purpose.
Right.
So, but I would imagine they're going to pull out all the stops to help him out as much as he can, right? Big money in the state, big name in Hollywood. He's got huge lawyers. He's got all kinds of stuff going on here. But I love the fact that he goes, well, there was never supposed to be a live round on the set, near the set, in the car, in the kit, in the bag. And I have my ideas.
Right.
I have some ideas.
He was the producer. He's supposed to have ideas. And not only that, I heard a report where they were out target shooting a couple days before with live ammo.
That's what I heard too.
I mean, if that's the case, you knew there was live ammo. You're the producer. You're the producer's in charge.
Well, now what about the fact and that first? I keep bumping the table. My fancy mic's not going to do me a bit of good here.
It rings through mine.
Yeah, Peter, I need another mic. I'm kidding, Peter. I appreciate what I've got. So what about that first clip at the very end of it when he said, or when they said, not him, when they said that the other people that were on there were going to be held accountable and charged with something as well? I mean, where do you draw the line? It was in his hand when it went off.
Right.
I mean, I think maybe people would get a bad mark on their career, right? Well, you handed him a gun, it was loaded, you didn't check it. Well, he didn't check it. So who does that lie with? Does it lie with the last person to pick up the gun and do it? And he's the one that should, granted, he's Hollywood, so he may not be getting punished.
Right.
So that shit's going to roll downhill. I'd imagine how that's going to work, but
it should have been at least double checked before it even touched his hand, from the armorer to the director to him.
Yeah. But, do you think that's enough for them to come up with they're going to get charges? It's like, what have they signed, though? I
think most of this is going to get swept under the rug.
You think so?
Yeah. Even her family, the husband and son, they're going to get a big fat payout from the insurance company. It's going to quietly go away. The armorer, the young lady who was... she's probably done.
Yeah, her dad was a real big Hollywood armorer too, I guess.
Well,
not anymore.
She's probably done. If for no other reason, nobody's going to want to work with her. And I think it's just going to disappear. I can't believe they brought Jesse Smollett back up. That was years ago. Now he's in court. Who knows?
Well, and so we're gonna go off the rails a little bit from the gun stuff, but it just shows you about all this stuff that's happening. We've got a school shooting that we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. We got the school shooting. We got the Jesse Smollett. They brought that back up. All this stuff's coming back up. What do they not want us to be watching?
I cannot believe.
Don't get suicided.
I cannot believe the Maxwell case even exists. Why would you even put on a trial for that?
Yeah.
There's lots of things that they don't have trials for. I can't believe they're doing it. But since they're doing it, you gotta one day they're disclosing all this new information, and some guy's walking around the United Nations with a shotgun to his chin.
And all of a sudden the federal government's been funded again. Yeah, do you see it? Do you see what I'm saying though? They're keeping the light off of anything and everything they don't want you to see.
Yeah, well, you get distracted with this nonsense, and that's like the Republicans voted for this. Had 80 Republicans vote for this vaccine tracking bill. Dan Crenshaw,
he's a shitbox. That guy is.
I hate that dude.
Then there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are probably like, Todd, what are you talking about?
Don't listen to him.
Yeah, that guy's
he's
horrible.
Got a top podcast. He's Nancy Pelosi, and he walks around acting like a tough guy. It's like, dude,
I'm a veteran. I'm a this. I'm a that. The guy's a dirtbag.
Yeah, he's World Economic Forum junior leader too.
Yeah,
he's trash.
He's a trash bag. Okay, so there was a big shooting.
Okay,
a school shooting.
Oh yeah,
in Michigan.
Right.
In Michigan, and. So we'll talk about it for a second. Then I got an audio clip that we'll play. It kind of talks about the tail end. So there was this kid. He was like how old was he?
I think he was 15.
15. I think he was 15, and he took a Sig. We don't know what brand. I always thought it was maybe the.
That's the one he was bragging about on
365.
Facebook.
Yeah. So it started out that this kid actually had his parents went out and bought him I think he was with his mom. They bought this gun, and he went out and they went target shooting with it. And he has posted pictures of him with this gun, saying, "Look at this beauty! Look at my beaut! I gotta go out and I gotta shoot it." And then a few days later, he took it to school and shot I don't even know. People keep dying. So I think we're up to 5 or 6 people dead now.
Really? I thought it was 3.
3, and then I think 2 more actually have died.
Wow.
So
I've been out of the news. The last I heard was 2 girls and a football player who tried to disarm him. So
yep.
I'll defer to you on that.
And it was really an interesting case. We're going to get into it more in just a minute, but it's funny because the head lady of I forget her name all the time of Shannon Watts of Moms Demand Action.
Right.
She actually came out and she actually accidentally made the case that the firearms should be allowed in school, right? Because she's like, and it took law enforcement 5 minutes to get there, and there was armed resource officers there with firearms, and they still weren't able to do it. So I mean, guns aren't the answer. I'm like, well, if the teachers were armed, that probably would have helped. That's going to put more guns there in time, because obviously law enforcement, 5 minutes is pretty freaking fast. But 5 minutes was too long.
5 minutes is a long time when you're getting shot at.
It is a long
ass time.
It is a long time. And so my stance on this is like it's always been, is you arm the teachers, let the teachers who want to carry a gun get the training and be armed, and teach them that they don't go hunt down the shooter. That if they need to stay locked down into a classroom, they have a gun. So if the shooter gets to that classroom and breaches the door to that classroom, they can then protect their students. I mean,
right.
there's a bunch of stuff I saw written, and some of the students were saying that we were grabbing pencil sharpeners and erasers, and we were grabbing sticks. Which, in all actuality, we've come a long ways in the last 10, 15 years, because they used to not even want them to do that. You just had to go cower in a corner and wait to die.
Hide under your desk.
At least now these kids have this let's fight back with anything that we can get our hands on, mentality.
Right.
And there's even a TikTok video going around. Have you seen that?
I'm not sure. Is that the one where he's knocking on the door?
He's knocking on the door. And I think it ended up actually being a sheriff's department guy, like a deputy. But they knocked on the door and they're like, "Okay, come on, this is a sheriff's department. You can come out or open the door. Please open the door." And they said, "No, we don't feel safe opening this door." And the guy's like, "Come on, bro." And it's like, "Oh, he said, bro."
That would have done it.
I mean, so they bailed out the freaking windows.
A good move.
It's a good move on them, right? Those kids are being a little judicious about what they're doing, and I think that's
your bro, man.
So interesting thing though, and I'll play the clip here in a minute, but this kid was actually, have you seen pictures of him?
Yeah.
Freaking highly, I mean, I hate to judge people on a picture. This kid was highly disturbed. I mean, there was something going on there, and he had actually got caught. He got caught at school looking up on his personal phone online, looking at ammo for sale. Where can I buy ammo? And he got in trouble for that. A teacher saw him do that, and he got into trouble for that.
Okay.
And called his parents. And his mom texted him and said, "Hey, you're not in trouble for looking at ammo. Just don't get caught looking for." So first of all, he's on his personal phone and he's looking for ammo. I honestly don't think that that's any reason.
Nothing illegal there?
Nothing illegal there. And unless the school's just crazy nuts, I can guarantee you, right up the road here, the school that my kids go to, it's hunting season. I guarantee you over half the boys that go to that high school are probably looking, where can I buy ammo? Where can I, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Looking at pictures of gun, whatever, on their own personal devices. I don't see anything wrong with that, but the school did, and the school called the parents, and then they decided that they wanted to have a conversation with the parents.
Well, a little context too.
Sure.
Was they concerned about him looking at ammo, or was he in class messing with his phone and said, "Hey, your kid's up here looking for ammo during class. He needs to pay attention"?
It might have been that too, but of course the media is just going to focus on the
ammo.
On the ammo.
I mean, if a kid's in recess and he's on his phone and he's looking for ammo, who cares?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And so here's another thing too, that they called, I think they called like a meeting with his parents.
Right.
Because of that, and because they actually end up finding a note on a picture, like on the kid's desk, and it showed a picture of a semi-automatic handgun that he had drawn and some words and it shooting somebody, right? And the words above it that says, "The voices won't stop. I need help."
Much more serious.
Much more serious. And then I think on there also it said something about there's going to be blood everywhere. And so that's a little serious, right? So they call the parents down, okay, to come and discuss this. And they pull the kid out of school so he can meet with the parents and whoever they're going to meet with.
Right.
The kid's wearing a backpack at the time. Shows up, they discuss this. They decide that this kid needs to go and get help. This kid needs to go and like get some kind of counseling within the next like 48 hours. Something's off, right? And the parents, I guess, agree to it, but the parents don't take him home. And the school says, "It's okay, we're done. You can go ahead and go back to class."
Okay.
Later on that day, not too much after that, the shooting starts.
Right.
And at about that time, they go home, the parents go home, and they see that the dad decides to check where this gun is being kept, which wasn't locked up. It was in a drawer, which I think probably happens in a lot of homes. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it probably happens in a lot of homes. He opened the drawer, noticed that the gun was missing, heard about the shooting. He then called law enforcement and said, "Hey, look, this is what's going on. I think it's my son." And then the mom also shot the kid a text when she found out the gun was missing, said, "Don't do it." Okay, so there you go. You got, I won't say due diligence, kind of like they saw it was missing and they called the police. Okay, so there's where that lies.
That's a new, I hadn't heard that last text message there.
Yep. So, I mean, I think there's a lot to the story that we don't know yet, but the odd thing is they want to now, they have actually filed charges of involuntary manslaughter against the parents.
Right.
Against the parents. Because they didn't lock the gun up. Now, I called and I talked to you on the phone about this. And you know, I'm torn, right?
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line? Like, I feel like the parents should have been responsible and everyone should be responsible for the firearms. You and me had some conversations about locking up firearms and you know, and you know, that kind of stuff and how it's important. And I believe that it is. Not everyone is going to necessarily do it. But when do you go back and blame the parents for your gun was there, your kid took it? The parents weren't there shooting up the high school. I mean, you're setting a horrible precedent when you start letting them come in and go after people in the background.
You are. There's like 15 different angles to this that is of concern. First of all, if the parents had reasonable expectation that their child would do this, then they could be considered an accessory. You know, you should take steps to prevent that. Okay. Now, if the school thought that this was going to happen, they should have taken steps. They should have had law enforcement involved. They can do a mental health hold on him and have him immediately taken away. You don't need the parents' permission. Law enforcement can take him and go have him checked out and cleared. So they dropped the ball. Where I get concerned about this is you have some schools that have kids biting Pop-Tarts into the shape of a gun, and they panic. They want a lockdown and send them home.
Right.
So how much power are we wanting to start giving these schools? It looks like the parents had some negligence that's shown through the text. Don't do it.
Well, sure.
But other than that, if it weren't for that, I mean, how much the slippery slope, we're starting to get these schools and government to overrule parents on parenting. They're going to say, well, you shouldn't have a gun in your home. You shouldn't watch, conservative television. You shouldn't. You see where I'm going?
No. Yeah. It's just a whole. You don't want to. This is what is concerning to me is I don't do a lot of posting on social media, but I look at it when something happens. I'm a big comment reader.
Yeah.
I'll read I won't necessarily engage, but I'll read the comments to kind of feel like a litmus test as to what's going on out there. And there's a bunch of these people that are like Second Amendment supporters. They're patriots. They're all this stuff, right? And they're saying, go after the parents, lock the parents up, do this, do that. And I'm like,
have they witnessed what our government's doing lately?
Yeah, it's like, how much of a patriot are you? Because, well,
there can be if the parents knew or suspected this would happen and didn't take any steps, then they can have some liability.
Well,
But but not only that. I mean, if they knew it. Who knows? I mean, they didn't give him his blessing. Go get him, boy.
Well, but then you got to go after the school as well, because
you got to go after the school.
And I've got an audio clip that we'll play in a minute that kind of talks about that a little bit. You got to go after the school, because around here, if there is a threat made, I'm going to go shoot up the school, or there's a bomb threat, some weird thing on social media that they can't even
random.
They can't even track down who posted
Some
it.
text message out of Iran.
They will shut down the schools
They will
for
shut the whole
2
thing.
days. Here you go. You had a kid.
Right.
You had a kid, and I'm not going to talk about the picture he posted with his gun. You had a kid that pretty much had a threat on he drew this threat on his freaking desk. And you had his parents there. You talked to him, told him he needed help within 40 hours, and then you let him go back to school. And now they're saying that the backpack that the kid was wearing probably had the gun in the freaking backpack right then and there. They didn't even check his locker. They didn't check his backpack. They did nothing. That's negligence.
If I tell you what, that picture was a cry for help. He wanted that to be found.
He said, "Help me."
Yeah. So I wouldn't even call the parents. I would have called law enforcement and said, I think we got a disturbed kid here. Let's get him down here, and you take him on a mental health. We'll call the parents and notify them what happened. But here's my concern with all these people, because it is a legitimate argument either way. My concern with the people cheering this along is, have you seen the government lately?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the shit they're pulling?
Yeah.
Be careful with what you ask for, because government loves to take more control and more power, because they will never be found guilty. They're never going to be responsible for anything. They'll just come lock everybody up. Yeah. You know what? You got to get these guns, or we got to get smart guns, or we got to get some. Let's just start locking people up. Hey, this guy had an angry look on his face. Let's go lock his whole family up and take all their guns. You got to. That sounds ridiculous, but it's not anymore.
What's that saying? And maybe you can help me, because I'm getting it messed up in my brain. Those who value safety over liberty or whatever, they deserve. You know what
neither.
I'm talking?
Yeah.
They deserve neither or what? And it's just I tell you what, if I was in that school, if my kid was in that school,
right.
and all this was going on, and it played out, they hear the school, as a parent of another student, I would get a bunch of parents together. I'd go after that freaking school. Because my kid just
legally.
Yeah, legally. My kid is supposed to be safe though.
Yeah.
And you just let this kid go. You won't allow. I mean, I don't know how they were in Michigan, right? How the schools work up there, but you wouldn't allow teachers to carry firearms there. But yet you had this credible threat sitting in your office like 45 minutes or an hour before this took place, and you just sent him back to class. That's unheard of.
If it's
it's uncalled for.
I'm all for action from government, law enforcement, everything. If it's legitimate, what I'm scared of is the overreach that'll happen. If the parents knew that something like this was going to happen and didn't take steps, they are liable. Same with the school, and same with law enforcement.
Yeah.
If people knew there was a credible threat and didn't take action, you're responsible. That's why people overreact. But I'm worried about the slope we're talking about.
Yeah. Me too.
Giving the government more power and start blaming.
In my mind, it's the libertarian in me. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you could go back to a lot of different cases and you go, well, and I pointed to even the Alec Baldwin case, right? Where they actually came out and said, well, there's some other people there that handled that firearm. They're going to be they're going to have charges filed against them. Well, okay, we're going to go after the guy that sold the gun to the dad that gifted it to his son now? I mean, how far back are you going to go on this? Because, if the parents are liable, then they could all be liable. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But we have a little bit of a twist here.
Okay.
So they went ahead and issued charges against those parents.
Right.
And here's what we got.
We now want to bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos. Danny, good morning. Thanks for being here. So I think the first question is, the parents fled. They were found overnight. How might that impact the case against them, the fact that they didn't turn themselves in?
Unquestionably, the prosecution in this case is going to use that fact in an argument for at least higher bail or arguably even no bail. But of course, the defendants are going to argue instead something like, hey, we were going to come in, but we were just trying to lay low because there was so much negative publicity out there. The bottom line is the prosecutor probably won't buy that explanation and will ask for higher bail when that time comes.
Danny, this is an extraordinarily unusual case. These parents here are charged with involuntary manslaughter, meaning they are also being held accountable for those 4 deaths. So how rare is that? How strong is the prosecution's case here? There's no law in Michigan that says they must lock up any gun in their home.
It's uncommon, but it's not unprecedented. Certainly in Michigan. Just a few years ago, the Michigan Court of Appeals upheld a similar theory of liability, involuntary manslaughter for a parent who left an unsecured gun around children with tragic results. So the prosecution here has a path to a conviction because in Michigan, at least, courts have interpreted involuntary manslaughter to encompass this kind of behavior. But statistically, it is rather novel to hold parents responsible for their children getting access to a firearm and then going and committing atrocities like allegedly occurred here. But I would expect that we may see it as a trend moving forward for prosecutors in a state like Michigan, which may not have gun securing laws, to apply it to traditional theories of homicide like involuntary manslaughter, which is not gun specific.
Right. You talk about liability, and a lot of people are also focused on the school because something extraordinary happened. The morning of the shooting, the school called in the alleged shooter and his parents, urged the parents to get him counseling immediately. But then he was allowed to go back to class. He apparently was even wearing a backpack where they believe the gun was being held. So, Danny, I think a lot of people are wondering this morning, could the school be held liable as well?
Just based on the prosecutor McDonald's statements at her press conference yesterday, I don't think the story is over. I think it's just beginning as to the investigation of the school. Traditionally, when it comes to civil liability, it is much harder to hold a public school or a government entity responsible than it is a private corporation or private individual. However, that certainly is possible if they did something egregious enough. And I think we're only just beginning to look into what happened at that school and what administrators did, and most importantly, what they knew and when they knew it about this child.
Well, the case continues to unfold. Danny Savalos, thank you so much for your insight.
So there you go. You know,
so the parents, they guilty, and we're going to start, this is a trend, we got to start going to school. Well, there's a whole lot more information that's come out about it.
It's not, there's not one person that they can charge.
Let's not jump the gun here, pardon the pun. Let's hold our horses.
And so as much as I wanted to
there's
say,
a lot of information come out about the parents still.
Yeah, well, and the fact that once they were issued this charge, guess what? The parents went on the run.
According to the news media.
But they actually, when they found,
they weren't at home.
They were, well, when they found him, they were like they had just actually gone into, was it Detroit?
It was like a mile from the border.
Yeah, and they had gone to the ATM and they had pulled out, like, I don't know if it's their life savings or what, like $4,000 or $5,000.
Wow, that's a lot for coming to get out of the ATM.
And that's what they said. They just pulled it out of the, ATM, pulled out of their account or whatever, and they found him inside of a museum that was closed. Like someone had someone they knew had let him in, and now they're trying to get that person as like an accomplice. And oh no, there's some fishy stuff.
They probably
freaked out.
They probably did freak out, but you can argue that. I mean, we were hiding from the media, blah blah blah. Whatever.
Well, sure, but I mean, it's no excuse
it don't
for them.
look good.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't think they should be involved. So they talked about a case. Okay, they talk about in Michigan there is no law that you have to lock up your firearm, right? There's no law like that. They talk. Well, it's not unheard of. It's not. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's not unheard of because there was another case. I don't know the exact case where they were talking, but I'm imagining this. So someone has a gun. They don't lock it up like they should. Their kids get a hold of it or just goofing around with it, and someone gets shot. I could see that as being like negligent on the side of the parents at that point, okay? This kid was in high school. He stole the gun, essentially. Locked up or not, he stole the gun, and he took it to school. It wasn't like he's a 4 or 5-year-old. Well, what's this? Get it out of dad's freaking sock drawer, and oh, bang, it goes off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I could see parents being held responsible for something like that.
Now, who's to say it wasn't locked up? I mean, right now we're getting these talking
Mixed
heads
story.
on TV.
Yeah.
Well,
they're just demonizing everything.
If it's locked up and there's a 15-year-old, you think he can't get through a lock for your gun cabinet?
Oh, yeah.
Or where the keys are at? He can. Not only that, all right, we just had a terrorist attack where some black supremacists just drove through a Christmas crowd, killing a bunch of people. All right, say your kid does that. Are you going to jail because you didn't secure the vehicle?
That's true.
I mean, if you have knowledge that this is going to take place, that makes you an accessory. You're supposed to take reasonable measures to prevent these things. That goes with anything. But this demonizing of the gun and going after parents for something, if they can prove that they had knowledge that this was going to happen, there is some liability there. Same with the school. I think the school,
they had plenty of knowledge.
Everything that I've heard, the most damning evidence is the picture that was found at the school.
The teacher found, plus
the school's more on the hook than the parents right now.
And then you add
what I've seen.
You add everything else up, right? I mean, I'm not saying the ammo lookup was a bad thing, but then you look at the picture though, and you think back, go, well, he was looking for this, he was looking for that. Oh, on social media, he posted a picture.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. My kid, I would buy guns and he would post on social media. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Are you insane?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's I don't know. I mean, so
it's a mess.
I want to ask you this too, and maybe you know more about this than me. This stood out to me too. So they're charging the kids on, the kid on, like, I forget how many people have actually died, 4 counts of something,
right,
and a count of terrorism.
Okay.
So have you ever heard of a school shooter like that, a kid getting a charge of terrorism? And if you haven't, this is just me thinking, I could be totally off into la land. Are they trying to attach terrorism to like handguns to give them a reason to come after your shit? Or, I mean, what are they trying to do here?
I don't understand that. I mean, terrorism is the use of violence for political means.
You haven't heard that?
I mean, what's his political?
Keep talking. I'm going to look this up.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how. Well, they'll try and charge you anything, and terrorism is the new buzzword. That's just everything's terrorism. Everything's terrorism. They want to get the January 6th protesters as terrorists and insurrectionists, and I'm like, it's just not the case. You want to see terrorism? Waukesha Christmas parade, that's terrorism.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you nail it down to the exact, that was jihad. If you nail it down to the exact definition, it's got to be a political end to it. I mean, where's your motivation there? But
yeah, it looks like they're domestic terrorism is what they're charging this kid with.
Okay. Well, if you start going down that road, anything that's violent is domestic terrorism.
Is that, I mean,
Are they charging the guy in Waukesha for domestic terrorism?
I don't know.
So they don't.
So is that going to? So since that's the new buzzword, and they attach that to the firearms, that's just another way there. It started off with a red flag, and that had to do with firearms, and now everyone's a freaking terrorist. If you have a gun, that puts a label on you, that makes you more scary.
Well, they've been trying to label everybody as white supremacist and right-wing extremist and homegrown terrorist attacks. So this fits their definition, so they'll be able to...
Or agenda.
Yeah, it'll stack up the numbers that they want to and say, look at this huge explosion in
right.
terrorism.
So this will be an interesting one to follow because I think there's more to come out yet on it.
There may be legitimate blame to go around, all the way around, and there may not be. But the way the media is jumping on this... we're going to know, unfortunately, we're going to know a lot of lies about this case.
Oh, yeah.
Then we're going to know every single thing that happened in this case. And ironically, because it doesn't fit their agenda, the Christmas parade, that's gone. It's already gone.
Yeah, that thing was scrubbed 3 days ago. You haven't heard anything about it. And they just this is what they do, right? And I'm not saying they were behind this shooting, but it makes me wonder if they were behind that, let's grab the parents and let's charge them with this and let's do that. Let's get everybody focused on this, which amazes.
Has it ever happened before where they went after the parents?
I don't recall that it has. I mean, it just amazes me that these Second Amendment supporters, these gun people, these so-called patriots are online saying, "Yeah, go get the parents." I'm like, my God, you're just giving them, pardon the pun, you're just giving them the ammo they need. You're letting it through. It's just like the same people that said, "Yeah, go ahead, take the bump stocks."
Yeah, well, same people that's talking about, red flags are good because if somebody's unstable,
Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah, well, it's a fake argument. If somebody's unstable, if they're lost out of their heads, they don't need a gun because they can hurt themselves, hurt somebody else. I understand that, but they're not. That's not when you pass that. That's not how they're going to classify it. They're going to say, "We heard you on the podcast. You sound a little unstable."
Well, yeah, and so what it is?
Give me them guns, boy.
We even talked about this on the phone. It's almost like they're setting it up to where whatever you decide, you're crazy, right?
Yeah. Anything that don't agree with them, you're crazy.
If I'm coming in here like me and I'm going, well, I don't necessarily. I don't think the parents should be held responsible. And all of a sudden, like, oh, you're okay with people getting killed. You're okay with this. Yeah. You're not for gun safety. You're not for gun responsibility. And then you've got the people who are for firearms saying, like, lock up the kids. And I'm looking at them going, you're allowing them in. So either way, you're just going to get hammered. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I don't explain. Shit, I'm not the Forgotten American podcast. I don't explain stuff very well.
You must not be listening.
No, you do great. So one more story, and I don't even have it written down on here, but holy crap, did you see law enforcement light up that dude on the little scooter?
That was a high-speed scooter.
What was going on? Where was that at? Was that Florida? Was it Florida?
No.
Was it?
Maybe it was. I don't remember.
Right in front of the dude.
I sent it to you.
Yeah, the dude was going into the freaking Lowe's.
Yeah, to the Lowe's, man.
He'd left some store, and he had stolen something out of the store.
I actually heard somebody trying to defend that.
Yes. So, and I posted for anyone who wants to see, and I'm not laughing because somebody died.
It was awful.
But it was... you need to go and you need to look at the article.
Merry Christmas.
I posted it on the Patriot Defense Facebook page. I mean, the whole story, and you can see the whole entire video.
Yeah.
Like I said, not digging at law enforcement, but you're not all great.
No. Some of you are insane.
Yeah. So this guy's following this old man.
This scooter. Yeah.
He's on a little scooter, little hover around, little whatever
rascal,
little rascal like getaway buggy thing. The thing goes like half a mile an hour, and he's falling through the parking lot. And this law enforcement guy is calling for freaking backup. He's letting him know where he is. And I'm following him through, and he just stole something out of the store. And I asked him to stop, and he like pulled a knife on me. He pulled out a knife. The suspect has a knife, and he's in his little scooter going, and you're seeing this through the parking lot. The dude's not even jogging. He is.
No, he couldn't even keep a walking pace. He had to walk a few steps and stop.
He could have walked faster than the scooter. And he's following. He's not trying to like stop this guy.
No.
I mean, obviously the guy can't get out of the scooter, or he would jump out and run away from law enforcement, right? So the guy's going. He's like, okay, we just went through this into the parking lot. Okay, and then another law enforcement officer shows up. I don't know if he called for backup or what. Comes running up.
How embarrassing!
I'm serious. And
I need help.
He's getting ready to enter Lowe's, and the dude was like, he was like 6 feet away from him. And the dude's about ready to go into, sir, you can't enter into the store. But bang, 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 bang. Shot him how many times?
I don't even remember.
Like 7 or 9 times. Shot him, stopped for a second.
And one more.
And then gave him one more. The dude falls out of the chair. He runs over, rolls him over, and throws him in cuffs.
What kills me about that.
There's no reason.
That is outright a psychopath.
Yeah.
A psychopath.
Yeah.
Lock this son of a bitch up forever.
It was so bad his department fired him like on the spot.
But what kills me is the other officers there.
They didn't say shit.
No big deal. We got shots fired. Roll medics.
Back to blue.
Yeah. law enforcement code 4. And I'm like,
Thin blue line.
when nobody got excited, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'd call, send whoever the shift supervisor, send everybody.
Yeah,
this is bad. Send somebody.
It's one thing to back up your buddies if you're an officer. This guy just flat out murdered this dude.
I don't want to be buddies with that dude. That dude's insane.
I would have liked it. I'm out.
I would have probably focused on him. Said, holster your firearm right now. Holster it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shoot you.
I'm putting you in cuffs.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you. Put it down.
Well,
Put it down.
Did you see the end of the video where when they shot? There was like the Lowe's greeter was like.
She didn't even run. She just
literally took 2 steps back and it goes, bang, 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 bang. Just lit him up. And we're not making fun of the guy dying. No. But it's
ridiculous. It's insane.
Oh my God. Anyhow. Yeah, so that's a good note to end the podcast on.
Yeah, it was.
I put that video up and they're like, I just thought I'd get some flack for it, right? Oh, you don't support law enforcement. People are like, oh my, what did I just watch?
Yeah. I saw one guy try and defend it. Well, when he pulled a knife, that was felony assault. I'm like, dude, go dump him out of his chair.
Yeah, but there's also a disparity of force thing going on there.
A little bit. I mean, and I understand. Here's the crazy thing we get into. If you say, well, you can take him, then some idiot's going to want people to, when you have a young 20-year-old with knives taped to his hands, well, just tackle him. No. You shoot him. When you got a 61-year-old, 80-pound man and a little rascal trying to get in the Lowe's, take it easy. All right, if he pulls a knife on you, you just slap the shit out of him. Put the knife down.
Jam a stick into his freaking wheels or something. Slow him down.
Push him over. Come on, I would just be a smartass about it and just throw a sandbag or potted plant in front of me. Hey, what you gonna do now, Pop?
Reach down and unplug his battery.
It's ridiculous. I mean, there's no defense of that.
Come quick, he's high-centered on a speed bump.
I hope that he gets charged because that is...
Oh, my God. Straight up murder.
Well, this is the kind of silly stuff they do with this psychological profiling and stuff. And you know the answers to give. You know how to get around that stuff. It's all a joke. And it's just more of the decline of the country. It's
right.
This is who, not everybody, but this is the kind of people that we used to search for people with a more moral character. When you give them a gun and say you can kill people if you need to. And we'll take your word on it back before cameras.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing some of this, and I mean, there's always been some of this, but that was just amazing.
Oh, my God.
That was amazing.
When you sent me that article, I'd seen the headline.
Right.
I was not expecting that. I was not ready for what I saw in that video.
Smoked turkey, man.
I mean, boom. I was waiting to read the article and like watch the video and go, well, there was nothing.
Nothing.
I got nothing.
No.
I think I was sitting there and I was like, I think I might have woke some. I was early in the morning. I was like, holy shit! I actually replayed it like 3 times, thinking I missed something.
What's shocking is you had. And at least one of the officers there, you had some people run up. I think they were paramedics, but nobody got excited. Nobody's like, hey, that's a little out of control there, buddy.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, code for roll paramedics, shots fired. And I'm like, really? Really? That don't get you a little excited, draw a little attention? You're like,
and not only here's the thing too, whether or not this comes into play or not, I'm sure it will. Not only did he get shot him at like the wall 7, 8, or 9 times in the freaking back. Like in the back. The guy wasn't even like advancing toward him. It's not like it's not like the old man was rolling into Lowe's with a freaking AR-15, on his little cart. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you got a profile of this man who's done, killed 30 people with his pocket knife, all right. Yeah. Smoke him, we gonna turn a blind eye to it. Gramps and his little rascal, all right. I don't know what he supposedly stole, but he wasn't much because he had to have it in his lap. I mean, just go dump him out the chair and cuff him and come on, Pops, let's go get you booked, and you'll spend the night in jail, maybe Christmas in jail.
Gonna lasso him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just, I mean,
I'm like
way out of control.
Way out of control, but what? That was funny. I'm still laughing
That's
about
terrible.
it.
I laugh at inappropriate things.
Oh
man.
my God.
But it was so over the top. It was stunning. It was shocking. It's
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, sometimes you get those shocking things. All you can do is laugh. It's just like you're like, whoa, what did I just witness?
It's crazy. It reminds me of the snow shovel lady and the lady with the, what did she have, a fork?
I don't know what we're talking about.
We talked about it on the podcast. The lady with the plastic snow shovel that the officer just smoked her, man.
Yeah.
And then another one in the hotel where she had scissors. She had scissors.
Scissors, yes.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not telling you to put yourself in dangerous situations, but for God's sakes, it's a short, middle-aged woman with a pair of scissors. I'm like, put the gun away. Punch her in the face. Handcuff her.
Drop her.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
and she gets taught a little lesson. She goes to jail.
I mean, even with this guy, I mean, couldn't we have used like less lethal force? Like
you could have used no force.
Like a taser.
You could have used no
If you
force.
wanted to do something, a taser.
I'd be afraid to kill an old man with a taser. I'd be like, look, just stop. I just run up behind him and grab the handles. I'm like, you're not going anywhere. His battery wouldn't have enough power to pull out of my hand. Like, yep, it's a good plan there, Houdini. Come on, you coming with me?
That's freaking great. I tell you what, it's been great again getting you back in here on the podcast. It's been too long.
I like this side of the mic because I'm not trying to think four different things ahead.
I know. It's
you're sitting there and you're stumbling, and yeah, it's good.
So I need to get back on yours now. We need to do some like cross promotion.
Okay, we need to do that.
We need to do that. We'll
You don't want to promote mine, man. I might talk to you. I'll
promote the hell out of yours. All my listeners listen to you.
I might damage your brand.
No, I'm not worried about it. I do that on my own. Don't worry. You're not gonna make it any worse.
I
Trust
got
me.
India chiming in now.
India?
Yeah, welcome India to the Forgotten American podcast. I guess they ain't gonna hear that. You got some Indians?
I don't know. I'd have to look. It
listeners?
changes all the time.
Okay.
I lost Australia.
What?
I know.
Well, Australia's lost.
Yeah, they're a little preoccupied right now.
They're probably not allowed to listen to your podcast.
You know what? I didn't even think about that.
That probably got cut off.
I need to rally the Australians. But anyhow, it's been great having you. I just want to let everyone know, thank you for listening to I almost said the Forgotten American podcast.
There you go.
Thank you for listening to Forgotten American podcast as well. Thanks everyone, because I know that there's quite a few of my listeners that also listen to yours as well, because they get a hold of me and ask me when you're going to do another episode. But I appreciate that. I appreciate you listening to the Patriot Defense Podcast. You can find us, the podcast version of it. You can find it on Stitcher, on iTunes, on Spotify. You can find it on the audio version on YouTube as well. I need to get back to doing some YouTube videos, live videos, but I tell you what, these have been so, like, I never know when I'm going to do them.
Right.
And we got Christmas parties.
It's the holidays.
That's right. I keep, every year, I say we're going to do some giant, like, Christmas episode. It never happens.
Come on, man. Do one this year. Do a giant Christmas episode. What's a giant episode?
I need to just get a bunch of people in here just to, like, chit-chat and, like not necessarily, just focus on feel good stuff. Does that make sense? Just talk guns, have a good time, joke around. You know what we used to do before the freaking world happened? So that's what I need to do. But if you got any comments or questions, you can call me. You can text me. Area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. If you want to get a hold of Cajun Cowboy, all you got to do is knock 3 times. And he'll answer.
Okay. We're good with that.
Everyone always asks me how to get a hold of you. I'm like,
it's right there in the
check his freaking show notes.
Yeah, it's the show notes. I don't even hardly change the show notes. So I'm like, a lot of times my title don't even fit with what I'm saying. I'm
copy
like,
paste.
Whatever I feel like saying.
Copy paste. Magnum figured out how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, he did.
So, okay, well, I appreciate it. Everyone have a great week, and hey, don't forget to if you want a little more, you want some instructional videos for $5 a month, you can join. You can join Patreon and become a patron of the program, and you can see all my fine videography work and my how-to videos and all kinds of that good stuff. I look good on camera.
Okay.
I look good on camera with my shooting glasses on. You're missing out. $5 is worth that. $5 is worth it to see me, the voice behind the microphone, the guy that you never see. Right? You can see that and become a patron. There you go. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great week. Bye.